Back with you see, some things never change, and that would be that. Anyway, y'all were here the last time y'all were here before this. We've had two major upgrades. No, three major upgrades. I'm sorry. Yeah, we've had three major upgrades since. Um, because before this, we had the analog board, which was new. And then we had the used new analog board. And then the computer, the bandwidth, all that stuff. So, as you can tell, I mean, the big ones tomorrow. So, you got to come back this afternoon. It's hard to get it.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll get those other things worked out from last night. I'm glad we're here this morning, man, because today I think this is good for folks to hear this and understand exactly. I think it's good to hear for folks to understand, because I don't think a lot of folks understand the complexities of the music ministry sometimes. I mean, there's of being on the road and doing exactly what's done. Because, the idea is, well, you just get up, drive to where you're going, set up and, play, and then that's it. That's all there is to it. and there's so much more involved in that. And I hope that our listeners today understand how much is involved in that, and that when they do go to an event or to a live music venue where there is a Christian artist of any kind, or they do come to their church, or to an event, not necessarily a church, but any event, that they are more apt to sow into that ministry to help them get further down the road. Mm-hmm. Because, like you said, $600 tire on a trailer, or a $1,200 tire on a bus. At least it used to be about that.
Still are, yeah.
Are they? So, that's costly, and to get down the road, it takes that. So, but I believe when you're sowing in to good soil, and the Bible says this, you sow into good ground, mm-hmm. You reap a good crop, and that's the key to being blessed.
Yeah,
it's sowing into good things, yeah. And a good soil.
It's kind of amazing too, because we spent a lot of downtime in Florida during the coronavirus quarantine time, and it was so lax. I haven't been that way in 20 years since we've been on the road. It was so lax that I started driving a tow truck for some friends of mine in town to help them out and to minister. A lot of people you minister to when their cars are broke down and such. And Michelle was running Instacart, delivering groceries to people and telling people about Jesus while she was doing that. And it was some downtime like I haven't had for such a long time. And I kept thinking, man, we're getting ready to go back out on the road. And I thought, well, what am I going to do when I get on the road? Because there's not cars to tow, and there's not all this stuff, and I'm caught up on all my accounting, and I kept thinking, what am I going to do when I'm on the road? And I had forgotten that easily how busy being on the road is. And it seems like it's, even myself, I'm thinking, wow, I can't wait to get back out on the road and relax. And dude, there is no relaxation. I'm either driving, working on something, meeting and greeting, doing a service, or setting up and tearing down equipment, or sleeping, which is very little. I mean, we don't get a whole lot of sleep. It's right. Usually on the go. And everybody's like, well, how come you hadn't been on Facebook? How come you hadn't been working social media? I'm like, man, we were wide open. It is crazy how busy we are out on the road, and people don't realize that. And I didn't even realize that when we had all this time off. I'm like, man, I can't wait to get out on the road and relax a little bit. Man, I'm still waiting. And we've been at it a week, and I'm drained right now. And I can see why that people, especially in the country music industry, wind up getting hooked on drugs and speed and stuff that enhances them to be able to keep going.
Right.
Because it'll wear you out. And travel in general, you know, they talk about jet lag, and it is a real thing. You know, we've run about 1,100 miles in 4 or 5 days, mixing everything in with it. And honestly, man, I'm jet lagged right now.
Right.
Wore out.
Absolutely.
But we got a 6 or 7 hour drive.
Shoot,
Where we're at tonight. So
we've
we'll get off
changed.
the air.
Shoot, we've changed probably 3 time zones. Just on our way here,
Right,
like.
Right.
And I don't
You
say
know?
that complaining. I love every
No,
minute
I
of
get
it.
it.
But you know, this ministry
Well,
life is a tough life.
Your body is what it is, man. It takes a toll, you know. It needs rest, and if you're not getting the proper amount of rest, you stay tired. Shoot, I'm tired today.
Yeah.
You know, after all this, you know, week and everything, you know, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. I enjoy what I do. I'm not complaining because I love doing what I do. I mean, it's evident, or I wouldn't still be doing it. And I'm blessed to be doing what God chose me to do. I'm not saying called no more. I'm saying chose me. I'm telling you, that was a revelation to me. All the times I read that, man, I've never caught that in that aspect.
Yeah.
I'm chosen, man. I'm not called. I'm chosen.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, I'm one of the few. So I'm like, that was just a major revelation for me. But anyway, I wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be doing what you're doing. You know,
Right.
If you wasn't. And you know, and I tell people all the time, you can't look at like what's in front of you. You have to look down the road. You have to know what's ahead. Because if you look for what's in front of you, you'll get distracted. You'll see what's, you know, Satan will try to get you off of that. You gotta have that faith, knowing that it's down the road. Because if you go by what you see, man, it's
right.
if you go by what you know, then it's all
Yeah.
good. And it allows God to do. It allows him to build your faith. Each thing that you get through with your faith, like you said earlier, when you get through something, you have faith, and you get through it. That evidence of things not seen, and it comes to pass. Well, your faith is a little more bolder, and you can work on something a little bit more bigger, and then your faith grows, and then you get more faith, and the more faith you get, the more you do. The more you stretch it, the more you release God to do more, and the more He does.
Sure.
Yeah, because that's what pleases Him.
Sure.
And you can't please Him without it. But how do you please Him? Well, you got to hear the Word. So if you ain't hearing the Word, you're looking to try and please Him.
Yeah.
Because that's what the Word says.
It's really
Faith
not.
cometh by hearing.
Yeah, it's really not rocket science.
No.
I mean, it's a pretty simple process when you look at the nuts and the bolts of it, but doing it is another.
Right, yeah.
It's a whole lot easier to sit back and complain and not have faith.
Yeah, that's that. I would imagine that's that sin nature we want.
Sure, yeah.
We want to do the opposite, man. We'll do what we want to do with the flesh.
Well, I want to commend you, man. I know you've bragged us up the whole time we've been here this morning, but likewise back to you, man. You could have dropped this thing and quit, and you're a talented dude in many facets, and half the people don't even know how many talents you have that are hidden, that you've just chosen to put aside to serve Him in the capacity that you're doing right now, and what you're called and willing to do right now. But I commend you for staying steadfast in the mission that He's got set forth for you to do. Because it'd be a whole lot easier just to accommodate everybody else's thought process and the world's ways. But you went against what everybody else said to do and still say to do. And you're doing it God's way. May not be God's way for everybody in the country, but it's God's way for your life. And it's working. And I commend you for being steadfast in your endeavor in doing that, regardless of the cost. And I know it's cost you and Roland, so thank you for doing that. We believe in you.
Well, right back, man. We believe in you. I believe faith begets faith. When I say that, man, you know, brothers and sisters of life, faith find each other. You know.
Yeah.
And whether it's 3 years or a year, or no matter how long it is, that connection is always there.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, God makes sure that it's there, because it's just a draw. It's an undeniable draw, because it's God's Spirit.
Right.
And when it's in you, you can find that. No matter what, because it transcends, it trumps everything else. And that comes to the forefront. And then you know. You always know when you find somebody of like faith.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And if you're around them enough, or you're around, because you see the fruit that they bear. I keep going back to the fruit thing. And you see that and you know that. So one thing that never changes, and like I've told my boys growing up, I said, listen, all you have is your character and your word. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I said that's what people will judge you by. That's all you have, and you make sure that you honor your word. If you tell somebody you're going to do something, you need to do it, because if you don't, then nobody's going to believe anything you say or do, and you need to make sure that that's what you do. So stay committed to your word at least, and be of good character.
Right. Yeah.
So people will say, okay, well, at least, you know, if they don't like you, they'll at least know that you can be a man of your word. You say what you can do.
Right.
It's one thing to be a jerk, but if you're a truthful jerk, people respect that.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, you can be a jerk, but if you're an honest jerk, well, I'd say, well, the dude's a jerk, but man, you can take what he says to the bank. You know?
Sure.
And people will respect that more than somebody who's a liar or a thief or anything else, you know. So, and I don't know what all that's going to get you by saying that.
Well, another point too, you know, people look at your ministry and your station and how God has blessed you and grown it and continues to grow it. And the same with ours. You know, you talked about us having the trailer and the bus and all the equipment and the opportunities that come our way. You know, every ministry and would want stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Every radio station out there would want the growth that you've seen, and it's just proof in the pudding that when you stick to your guns and you stay above reproach and you do what you're called to do and you turn the other cheek when people are attacking you, when you can get to that place in your life, God will bless it, but you have to get to that place first. And a lot of people want, as you talked about earlier, they want to pick fruit from other people and live off of that fruit. Well, if they would just be steadfast in paying their dues and sticking to the main thing, God would add on to their ministry and add on to their lives. And, you know, whatever profession, even if you're not in the ministry, it'll work the same way in your business, whatever your business may be. If you'll be steadfast and not worry about doing it the world's ways, but doing it God's way. And I don't say that bragging on you or I'm bragging on God. I'm saying He's doing what He told us He'd do if we do what we're supposed to do.
It's just that simple.
It's that simple.
It's that simple. Yes, it is. Man, speaking of all we've been speaking about, faith, we got a song called Faith in God. That's what I'm going to play.
Awesome.
It's the morning show, HLE Radio.